Hi, and welcome to our lesson on angles. Today is going to consist of several definitions, so please make sure you have your notes out. Write down the definition and draw a picture if you need to. The first definition is an angle, and an angle consists of two different rays that have the same initial point. If I were to draw ray 1 and ray 2, I now have an angle. This angle has an initial point, which is right here. And let's go ahead and look at our second definition, vertex, the initial point of the angle, and that would be right here. This is the vertex of the angle. Now, when you're naming angles, if I want to name these angles right here, notice that there are actually three angles here. There's the top little one, the bottom little one, and the big one. So in order to know what angle I'm talking about, I have to use three letters. And the vertex is always the letter that's in the middle. So here I have angle ABC, which is this big angle right here. Notice I also have angle ABD and angle DBC. So the vertex always has to go in the middle when you're naming an angle. This angle up here, if I were to call this, if I were to put a B there, I can call this angle B because there's only one angle here. Here I cannot call it angle B because I have three and I don't know what one I'm talking about. The measure of an angle is measured with a protractor in degrees, and that talks about the distance from here to here, distance from here to here in degrees. And we will talk about that using a protractor in just a minute. Okay, the next thing that I want to talk about is an acute angle. An acute angle is an angle whose measure is less than 90 degrees. An obtuse angle is an angle whose measure is greater than 90 degrees. A right angle is an angle whose measure is exactly 90 degrees. And a straight angle is an angle whose measure is exactly 180 degrees. So go ahead and get these definitions, and you'll pause the video, get them written down in your notes. Draw a couple of quick sketches here. There's an acute angle. There's an obtuse angle. My best approximation of a right angle. And a straight angle. Make sure you get those written down. Congruent angles are angles that have the same measure. In our picture over here, notice that we have angle ABD and ABC. Now I'm going to say that they are congruent, and when I write that, I would write that angle ABD is congruent. Notice the congruent symbol here. It's an equal sign with a tilde on top of it. Is congruent to angle DBC. The way that I show that in my picture is I can put little tick marks here. Those little red arc lengths there signify that angle ABD is congruent to angle DBC. The last thing that we're going to talk about is using a protractor. And the way that you want to use a protractor is it always has a center point right here. This center point is going to sit on the vertex of your angle. So I will put that there. So notice how your protractor has a line going along the bottom here. You're going to line that up with the angle line. So I'm going to put that right there like that. And then this angle, so and then now I'm going to write measure, the measure of angle SBD QR. If I'm measuring this angle right here, I'm going to start at the 0 here, and I'm going to move up. And notice that it comes across right here at 35 degrees. And then over here, the measure of angle PQR, whoops, I'm sorry, PQS, is equal to, now notice if I start here, now I'm working on this outside numbers. Here I was working with the inside because I was starting right here at 0, moving up. I'm going to start at 0 here and move around, and I see that that is 145 degrees. So remember, when you're using a protractor, the center point goes at the vertex, and you have to be careful and make sure you are either using this inside degrees or the outside degrees, depending on the angle that you're measuring. So please make sure that you have these definitions written down in your notes, and if you have any questions on them, we'll talk about them in class tomorrow. Thanks.